Nissan just unveiled their facelifted Nissan Leaf, and what we're going to do in this video, I'm going to talk to you about this design because there is some problems, in my opinion, with the proportions of the Nissan Leaf. So what I'm going to do is use graphic design primarily to try and solve this issue that I have with it. But before we do that, I want to show you some of the current cars and vehicles of Nissan and their current lineup, because I think Nissan is doing a fantastic job at the moment, hammering in their design DNA and also coming up with some really cool designs. So first of all, we have the Nissan Frontier up here, and what I love about this is that it takes a very traditional mid-size style and proportions of a truck, but it creates a super strong brand identity right here for the Nissan, specifically with these headlights. And I made a video on this on my second channel, choosing between the Nissan Frontier and the Toyota Tacoma, letting you know which one I would buy based on the design. That's on my second channel. You might want to go and check that out if you're interested. Then we have the Nissan Pathfinder right here. So have a look at the headlights and how they implement that in different packages in different proportions in their lineup, but you still recognize it as a Nissan. So here we have this typical for modern times. You have the headlight being in the bumper. This is not really the bumper, but underneath what you would expect the headlight to sit, and that is up here. So this is just a daytime running light, creating a nice identity both at daylight and at night. And you have the same kind of running lights up here, as you can see, and lower part right here. It kind of reminds me of the Ram trucks as well, the Ram 1500 trucks with that graphic. Moving down, we have the Nissan Kicks. So this is a similar proportions to the Nissan Leaf, but this just looks so much better, and I'm going to show you why that is. And that is because of graphic design features, some details in the graphic design that I'm going to implement on the Nissan Leaf, and you're going to see the before and after. If I made it better, if I made it worse, that's totally up to you, but I'm going to have some fun experimenting with that. And then this is a kind of a surprise, because the Nissan Juke, as you know, has been named one of the ugliest cars ever made. But in this generation right here with this facelift, just have a look at how beautifully nice flow it is in this design. Specifically this line right here, super nice and super crisp and clean. Then you have this line down here creating some surface and some cool interesting surfacing and reflections in the body. Same thing here with this Juke here. You have the headlight being this massive ball or circle ellipse right here. Then you have the daytime running light, just as the other two, the Frontier and the Pathfinder, having the same kind of running light in the front end, creates a strong identity for the entire lineup. Moving down, then we have, of course, the Nissan Z. I made several videos on this. I think I made a couple here on this channel, but most of them on my second channel, Bembly, if you want to go and check that out. I really love this design. I'm not going to talk too much about it because I've said so much about this design, but this is just an example of what Nissan is doing at the moment that really works for their design department. And I think they have a lot of fun in their design department as well, specifically creating a retro-inspired design such as the Nissan Z right here. It's a beautiful design, very clean, no fake air vents in the front end and stuff like that. Just a clean surfacing and clean Z typical proportions in this design. And then we come down to the Nissan Leaf down here. So let's have a look at the proportions here and what happened here. This is a facelift. It's a very subtle facelift over the previous generation. You have some blacked out grille pieces right here in the front end, but overall the proportions are pretty much the same as the previous generation. What I think is lacking here, or what looks weird to me, is just look at how tall this area is from the top of the fender to the bottom of the A-pillar. It's like a building going up here, right in the place where you don't want to have a lot of mass. And the thing is, you might think to yourself, Nissan maybe doesn't really know how to create cool looking EVs, but I would say you would be wrong, because let's have a look at the Ariya right here. This is a beautiful design and a 100% EV. Just have a look at the line flow in this design right here. We have a sharp shoulder line going right across the entire length of the car. Very smooth surfaces right here, beautifully done. And the graphics works as well. We have a blacked out greenhouse right here, which kind of reduces the overall weight of this car. So we're gonna take some inspiration graphic wise from the Ariya, and the thing I'm gonna apply to the Nissan Leaf down here, we do have the blacked out roof, which at the same thing as the Ariya, it creates a lesser weight up top, but at the same time the bottom part, the body colored part right here, it's so massive that the proportions don't seem to work here, and the wheels look a lot smaller than what they actually are. They're pretty much the same size as the Nissan Kicks, but in the Nissan Kicks it looks a lot better. So why is that? Let me explain. So let's go back to the lineup here and let's have a look at the Nissan Leaf and compare it with the Nissan Kicks. So here we have the two right next to each other, and they have pretty much the same proportions, but graphic wise they look a lot different. So what's separating these two, and what makes the Nissan Kicks up here look a lot better than the Nissan Leaf down here? Well, it's very simple. Looking at the graphics, this is probably the first time that I think a car needs to have these blacked out pieces around the fenders applied to this design, because what this would do, if we apply those fenders onto the Nissan Leaf, it's gonna bring the mass even lower. So this body panel right here, there's way too much body panel surfacing right here. We need to shrink it down somehow. The way we do that is by applying these graphics right here, this black piece, and also I'm gonna take something similar to this, have this bottom part and the side, apply that to this piece as well. So we bring the weight down and we make it look slimmer, even though we're not gonna mess up the proportions too much. I might do some redesign in the front end with this line right here. I think this is way too sharp and it doesn't fit the otherwise smooth surfacing of the design. So maybe have a smoother transition like we have in the Kicks right here, a not so sharp corner right here, something like that. But the main difference here is going to be working in the graphic design to make the Leaf look slimmer, because we can't have this massive building right here stretching above the A-pillar. I think this is the part where everything really looks too massive and too front heavy. It looks like it's plowing the car moving forward, looking at it from a side view right here. It's just gonna make it look like it lost a lot of weight. So with that said, let's jump into the redesign here and let's see how this is going to turn out, because I'm really interested in seeing the result of this and showing it to you, and you letting me know what you think of it, if it helps the design or if it doesn't help the design. Usually, I'm normally not a huge fan of adding plastic cladding to cars that are not supposed to be off-road going cars, and I think the Nissan Leaf definitely not an off-road car. But in this case, just as I said, to help the proportions of the Nissan Leaf, because I think it has potential. We just need to work more on the graphic design, and I think adding this black cladding around the wheel arches and in the lower part of the car, it's gonna transform this design into something that looks totally different from what the original Nissan Leaf looks like. And I kind of want to do this for my own sake, this redesign, because I want to experiment and show you the power of what graphic design can do for a car, not remolding the entire surfacing or the proportions. Keep the original proportions as close as possible to the original. I might not even touch them at all, except for that front corner that I want to have a little smoother. But other than that, I'm going to show you what happens when we apply these black plastic cladding, and they work a little bit maybe with the A-pillar graphic as well to make it look a lot slimmer than what it is in the original version. Now Nissan, to me, as I said, I think Nissan is doing a totally fantastic job designing their cars at the moment. They have really cool cars. I love the Frontier. I love, of course, the Z. Very cool. It sticks out from the lineup, and I think the Z should. It doesn't have to have the same kind of daytime running lights as the rest of the lineup, because then it really wouldn't be a Z if you have that little angle light in the front end that they have on every other Nissan. Nissan Z, it should be separate from the lineup because it's such a special car. Other than that, the entire lineup has a very clear identity at the moment, and the Nissan Leaf as well, because they do have the same kind of daytime running light in the front end, and they have that V grille, which I'm going to emphasize a little bit more, because I want the line from the hood, as you can see, going down from the A-pillar. I want that to go in to the grille and create a little chamfer or a little line in the black part of the grille, so we have a connection from the top of the hood going down into the grille as well. I think that's going to help the design. And then I want to have a little bit of more of a chamfer underneath the headlight, kind of creating a foundation for the headlight to rest on, and remove this very sharp angular cut off in the front end corner, which I don't think really suits the rest of the smooth and almost organic surfacing and lines of the Nissan Leaf. We gotta talk about these wheels as well. I'm not a huge fan of these wheels. What I think about these wheels do, they work, they help the Nissan Leaf in the wrong direction. direction, so it makes it look like it's just a black hole there. I want to have the wheels be silver, and that way it kind of feels like it sits more planted on the ground, and that silver wheels in combination with this black cladding that we're going to add to the car, I think that's going to be the solution if I were to redesign this car to make it look less like one of these weird looking EVs that we've seen the past decade. I think we're past that stage now. Companies are actually trying to make EVs look exciting and be exciting cars and not look like weird bean shapes, all of them. And I think we can help the Nissan Leaf here by just making some minor changes to this design. Let me know what you think. Do you prefer the original or do you prefer the redesign here? Do you understand what I'm trying to do with the graphic features by making it slimmer and feel like it's lost several hundreds of pounds by just adding this black cladding to the car? I think it really helps the design. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching. I'm TheSketchMonkey, and I will see you in the next video.